Are you guys confused on how to set up your first Grade 1 grind? I was too when I first began, but this guide right here will give you the first 3 steps that you need to take in order to set up your Grade 1 grind the proper way. So the first thing on my list is to talk about drink zones. Drink zones are very important when setting up a grind. The best thing to do is find your map that you trust the most. For me, I use Lady Legends maps, especially on this map here on Scotland, the new map. This is where I chose to set up my Red Deer grind for them. But as a quick show, basically from this lake, draw a line over here to that edge, and then draw a line over here to this edge. Anything up in these areas, obviously where you guys see my tents placements, there could be red deer there. Currently, I believe I have 44, 45 drink zones on Scotland for my red deer. So finding all those is crucial to make sure you have consistent respawns. So the next thing that we need to talk about now is tents. Tents. I have all 16 tents placed. Obviously, you can see I have pickup tents now. But for the beginning, I want you guys to use all 16. Find all your zones, set 16 tents up on a zone, and go from there. The reason why I say this is since I'm on PlayStation, some folks may be on Xbox, some folks may be on PC, but what I've come to find out is it is a little bit harder to shoot 2 out of 1 zone on PlayStation and Xbox, or if you're playing with a controller on PC. This way, if you have all of them set up on your zones, you're able just to shoot your one, shoot consistently 16 of them to make sure you shoot enough for your rotation, and then when you come back in your next go around, you do have your respawns there as well. I haven't seen any issues with shooting less than 16 on red deer on Scotland, but I know if you go to hunt whitetail typically have a bad time respawning if you don't shoot enough. So we're going to shoot this guy real quick down here and we'll go get the other one. The best thing about this though too is when you're using 16 tents, we'll go over to one of my favorite zones here in just a second. But some of my favorite places to set up is where I'm shooting 2 zones at once. If I'm shooting 2 zones at once, it's a lot easier for you to be able to herd manage down your map. If you choose to go the herd management way, I do just because I like to have diamonds spawn more frequently. But herd management is not necessarily in order to get a great one. It helps the diamond spawn rate, in which it would increase your chances in order to get a super rare. For you that don't know what a super rare is, a super rare is something with a rare fur type and also a diamond trophy rating. I herd manage so I don't have to go every 100 kills without seeing a diamond. I go about 1 in every 50, 1 in every 60 kills with seeing a diamond. I'm not too extreme as some other creators may be, like I Buy Premiums, who is the father of the herd management method. But you guys could go to that extreme if you like as well. I know my fallow grind was that way. Not a, on purpose matter at all, but it just so happened to be where like my fallow grind is like a 1 in 30 type of herd managed instead of how I typically have all my other grinds at like 1 to 50. But for example, this zone here, I have actually that's a solo zone. I casually have a solo jump into, a bigger solo jump into, and I just have to shoot him down from time to time. But I have this zone right here, which has got a 5 medium in it. Okay, and then I got a couple 4 easies. Over on this side, I have a zone I like to shoot out of, and it has a 4 easy, and I don't know where my other guy went, but he's the culprit today. Since these are my two main zones here, I will be shooting one from each zone. So we'll find this 5 medium that was over here. So here's one here. I shoot him. He's done. If I look over here, these guys have no clue. I just shot a red deer in the ed zone, so they're still calm. And we shoot that guy there. And we got 2 from that zone. That's what I mean of using one tent here to set up on these 2 zones. When you come across the zone, or like if you have a main zone and it has a level 4 or 3 in your main zone, you need to shoot that guy out of that main zone. Even though if you're doing herd management, you know you have to shoot the mid levels and up, so level 5 and up, you still want to shoot those little guys out of there so they don't consistently come into your main zone. You want to have the bigger respawns coming to your main zone. But in your exterior zones, you want to have level 4s and less in there. So for me, all my other ones have level 4s and less. I'm still working on my solo zones. I know they jump around from lake to lake, and I'll find that solo. But I try to have my solos be a level 4 or less, and that will also help. It is not necessary for you guys to be able to herd manage your solos. If you just wanted to herd manage your herds, and then say you went around and looked for your solos, and say you have like a diamond level or one of those higher level 4s, level 7s or 8s in those zones, shoot those down, and then like if they respawn as a level 3 or a level 6 or a level 5, they're not going to hurt that bad. It just won't make your herd management to that extreme. But for example, this is another one of my zones down here that I have 2 shooter zones out of, that I could shoot one out of each zone and be able to be good without messing up any shots. So let's take a look here. They're both on this far side of the lake. Get up on here. So I got this zone here. Let's see if is there anything bigger. Yeah, look. So there's an 8 mythical in this zone. I'll go ahead and shoot him. And then over here, I have a level 7 in this zone. Looks like a level 6. And I don't see anything else. But there's a zone there. I actually have one down here. 2. But I don't have, but I think 1 level 6 in there, and I decided just to leave him for right now because I don't have my herd management to a crazy state, and I don't currently want it that way. So what I'll do is I'll take that one. He's going down. I'll come over here, see that this level 7 still there, and I'll take him as well. And just like that, we killed 2 more with 1 tent. So the more you could utilize 1 tent for your zones will be a lot easier. And I have a floater. We'll have to go back and get that in a second. We'll run over here and get this guy. So, like I just talked about, shoot all your mid levels and down. If you choose to do herd management. If you choose not to do herd management, just set up on 16 zones and shoot the biggest one out of that zone. If you shoot the biggest one out of that zone, then you could continuously just rotate through those zones and just keep shooting the biggest one out of that zone. But if you choose to do herd management, you set up your 1 tent on 16 different zones and then shoot the biggest one out of that zone until you get a level 4 or less. If you get a level 4 or less, you can pick up that tent from that zone and move it to another zone you have not touched yet and continue to go on. Then, once you get to that point, try to have at least, if you have a bunch of zones that are already herd managed now, you're getting diamonds like crazy. What I would do then is I would pick up my tent, use it as a claim tent, but make sure you still have, I like to have 12 to 13 zones. So, to recap of what we just talked about, we want to find all of our drink zones. Kind of give you guys a description of where all my stuff is at, or where red deer are at on this map. So I'll plug a picture of my map once again into my channel, or you could go to another creator's Discord, such as Lady Legend or Pro XCK or Squidster Outdoors. Those guys have good maps on their Discord channels. They will show you exactly what time they drink and all that good stuff. Another thing you need to do is use all 16 tents. Make sure you purchase 16 tents. If you do not have the money for 16 tents, then um, just go about your way of finding or shooting as many as you can with the tents that you have. So if you only have 8 tents and you only shoot 8 red deer, or maybe you have a couple of them set up on different spots to where you can shoot multiple out of a zone, save up and just keep buying tents as you go along. Then once you get to your 16 tent limit, then I would worry about buying tripods. Tripods aren't necessary if you're only shooting one out of per zone, but they make it nice to um, be able to limit the hunting pressure a little bit more. And last but not least, guys, like I said, if you're doing herd management, then shoot every level 5 and up. And then if you see a level 4 or less that are only in your main zones, then shoot them as well. But if you're not doing herd management, just pick 16 places on the map. 16 places on the map, shoot one red deer, run over, claim it, and go to the next one, and just keep rotating. But other than that, if you guys liked the video or want to know which great one you would like to see a guide for, comment down below. But other than that, have a good day, guys. Like and subscribe. Peace out.